Ever had that gnawing feeling that your partner might be hiding something from you? Yes, it's a sentiment that can stir unease in the stoutest of hearts. Trust, after all, is the bedrock of any relationship, the foundation upon which love, respect, and mutual understanding are built. Yet, it's not always easy to decipher the language of emotions, especially when it's cloaked in the subtle nuances of everyday interactions. That's why we're here today, to shed light on a topic that's as intriguing as it is complex. 7 signs that your partner might be hiding something from you. These aren't just random observations, but rather carefully analyzed behavioral shifts that could indicate a deeper issue. From an unexpected surge in affection, defensive reactions to simple questions, to changes in phone habits and more, we're going to explore them all. So buckle up and stay tuned as we delve into these 7 telltale signs that your partner might not be telling you everything. First up, sudden bursts of affection. Picture this. Your partner, who's usually not the most demonstrative, is suddenly showering you with love and attention. It's not your birthday or your anniversary, and there's no apparent reason for this unexpected affection. While it can feel wonderful to be on the receiving end of such warmth, it might not be all roses and sunshine. This sudden increase in affection could be a sign of guilt, a subconscious way to make amends for a secret they're carrying. Alternatively, it could be an attempt to distract you, to throw you off the scent of something they'd rather you didn't discover. It's a tricky situation, isn't it? Affection is generally a good thing in a relationship, but when it comes out of the blue and lacks a clear cause, it can also be a potential red flag. So remember, while affection is generally a good thing, sudden and unexplained increases could be a red flag. Moving on to the second sign, defensive reactions. Ever felt like your partner overreacts to simple, innocent questions? You ask about their day or who they were chatting with, and suddenly they're on the defensive. It's like you've accused them of something terrible when you've merely shown interest in their lives. This could be a telltale sign that they're hiding something. Think about it. Why would a simple question ignite a defensive reaction unless there's something to defend? It's important to distinguish between a bad day and a pattern of defensive behavior. We all have our off days. However, consistent overreacting to casual inquiries could suggest they are not being entirely truthful. But remember, jumping to conclusions won't help. Open communication is key. If you notice such behavior, address it calmly and directly. Ask if there's something they're not comfortable sharing. Keep an eye out for defensive reactions. They might be more revealing than you think. Next up, changes in phone habits. When your partner's phone becomes a fortress of solitude, it's time to raise an eyebrow. If they suddenly start guarding their phone like a prized possession, it may be a sign that there are things they don't want you to see. Consider this, they used to leave their phone around without a second thought, but now it's always in their pocket or hidden from your sight. Or perhaps their phone's password has changed and they've become overly secretive about it. Another red flag is if they've altered their notification settings. You may notice that their phone doesn't light up with messages anymore, or that it's always on silent. These changes may seem small and insignificant, but they might be concealing a bigger picture. Always remember that trust is a fundamental aspect of any relationship, and secrecy can erode that trust. So remember, sudden changes in phone habits can be a major sign of hidden activities. The fourth sign, avoiding eye contact. You see, the eyes are often called the windows to the soul for a good reason. They can reveal a lot about what's going on inside a person's mind, even when their words may be saying something different. When your partner consistently avoids eye contact, especially during sensitive or deep conversations, it can be a telling sign. Imagine you're having a heart-to-heart about your future together, and you notice them glancing everywhere but into your eyes. This could be a signal of discomfort, uneasiness, or even dishonesty. Remember, it's not just about dodging your gaze during one conversation. It's about a pattern of avoiding eye contact over time. Perhaps they're grappling with guilt or trying to hide something. They might be trying to keep you from seeing their inner turmoil reflected in their eyes. So, don't ignore the eyes. They might be telling you more than words do. Now let's talk about unnecessary fights. Picture this. Your partner has been starting minor squabbles over seemingly trivial matters. The dishes, the laundry, the way you fold the towels. It's as if everything you do is suddenly wrong. You might be wondering why these minor issues have become major points of contention. Well, it's possible that these petty arguments are not just about the issue at hand. Here's the kicker. These fights could be a clever diversion. It's a common tactic used when someone wants to draw attention away from something they're hiding. It's like a magician's trick. While you're busy focusing on the argument about the dishes, you're not paying attention to the fact that they've been acting strange or secretive. Remember, constant, unnecessary fights can be a smokescreen. So if you notice a sudden increase in petty arguments, it might be time to ask what's really going on. Petty arguments might be more than just annoying. They could be a diversion tactic. The sixth sign to look out for: inconsistent stories. Now, we all forget minor details from time to time, but major inconsistencies in a partner's narratives should raise a red flag. When stories change drastically or don't quite add up, it's often because it's difficult to keep track of a lie. Fabrication is a tricky business, and maintaining a false narrative can be a real challenge. Think back to any recent conversations. Did the details of a particular story change? Were there inconsistencies that didn't make sense? Maybe you've noticed that timelines don't align, or locations and people involved seem to shift with each retelling. These are all signs that something isn't quite right. It's important to note that everyone makes mistakes, and sometimes details can become muddled. But when these inconsistencies become a pattern, it's worth addressing. Open dialogue is key. Remember, inconsistencies in stories can be a major clue to hidden truths. And finally, emotional distance. This is one of the more subtle signs that something may be amiss in your relationship. It's not as conspicuous as a sudden shift in phone habits or a flurry of unexplained affection. However, it's just as telling. Emotional distance often creeps in without a word of warning. It's when your partner starts to withdraw from you emotionally, without any clear explanation. Conversations become more superficial, the laughter less frequent, and the shared moments less intimate. It's like trying to hold onto a cloud. You can feel it, but you can't quite grasp it. This distancing can be a defense mechanism, a way to create a buffer while dealing with hidden issues. It's a silent cry for space, a sign that they're wrestling with something they're not ready to share. Remember, everyone needs their space sometimes. But a sustained emotional withdrawal without explanation, that's a red flag. Emotional withdrawal can be a sign of deeper hidden concerns. To sum it all up, subtle changes in your partner's behavior can be revealing. Our journey through the 7 signs has taught us that relationships are complex, and it's crucial to stay alert to these subtle shifts. We've seen how an unexpected surge of affection can be more than just a sweet surprise. It could be a sign of guilt, a distraction from something they'd rather keep hidden. Then there's defensiveness, a reaction that often comes from having something to hide. When simple questions are met with hostility, it's a red flag that there might be more beneath the surface. We also talked about phone habits. If your partner suddenly becomes secretive about their phone, changing passwords or altering notifications, it's a sign that they might be concealing something. We've learned that eye contact, or rather, the lack of it, can be a powerful indicator of dishonesty. If your partner avoids making eye contact during important conversations, it could suggest they're uncomfortable because they're not being completely honest. Recall the 6th sign, the sudden onset of unnecessary fights. These could be diversion tactics, attempts to shift focus from the real issue at hand. Inconsistent stories were our 7th sign. Contradictions in personal narratives indicate a struggle to maintain a lie, a sure sign that something's amiss. And finally, we discussed emotional distance, an unexplained withdrawal that can leave you feeling isolated and confused. It's often a sign of hidden concerns that need to be addressed. These signs are essential to recognize, but remember, they're not definitive proof of deception. They are prompts for open communication and understanding. Trust is the foundation of any relationship, and it's crucial to maintain it. When these signs appear, it's an invitation to reach out, to talk, to understand what's really going on. Remember, maintaining trust is crucial in any relationship. Don't be afraid to communicate openly and address concerns early. It's better to face the truth than to ignore the signs.